Hey guys, and welcome to English 10 days, quote unquote, 9 through 10, House Taken Over. This comes from Unit 1. After Fall of House of Usher is our next read, House Taken Over. It will likely be called reading number 3 next time you see it. So in this folder, House Taken Over, you see that we start with the vocab. Your job is to then define these vocab words using the blue words in our text. Then you are to read the text. Here I've tried to give you this link. If this link doesn't work, of course you can go back to in our resources folder in Unit 1, where you can use the link to get to the interactive textbook. Otherwise, you're welcome to use the textbook PDF. I do suggest using the interactive textbook so that you can highlight and take notes. So if that link works, it should take you to Savas. You log in. Mine jumped right there. I must have already been logged in, but remember, you click the Easy Bridge button, and then you type in Weld, and you choose the Weld County one that's called Weld with the RE6 in it, which should lead you here. We're in grade 10, so you should have an English grade 10. Here, click the arrow if it's not already clicked, choose the grade 10 text, open that up, and we will be going to our next text, which is called House Taken Over. Our book looks like this with the zipper eye. If your book doesn't show up right away, click the green circle called Browse, go to our textbook. Once our text opens, we're going to choose the Interactive Student Edition, which is the one with the orange box around it, or the orange frame. And we'll be reading that text. So our job is to read the text. If you do the textbook PDF, it's pages 36 to 42. Otherwise, we're going to look at whole class learning for House Taken Over. We will use this text to then answer these 5 questions, and we'll submit that using the gray button and the Create tab that is over here in the Submission section. Back to the interactive text, we choose the orange one, click the arrow, give that a second to load. Once we finish our comprehension questions, we get to move on to the questions that we answer for each text. How does it tie into the essential question? What's the allure of fear? Your job is to respond with one reply to other students. How does this short story in particular connect to fear and why we're interested in it? Then we answer our next question that we always answer. What is imagination and how does it overcome reason? Do they even know what they is? What is their imagination? What is real? Do we even know? That should be some things that you think about while you form your response using the text from House Taken Over. And then your last discussion question is, how does the story resemble a nightmare? So Cortazar, the one who wrote this text, wrote the story after having a nightmare, actually. So that's what inspired it. In what ways does it feel like a nightmare? In what ways does it resemble a nightmare? That's what you write in here. And then you'll reply to 2 others. So lots of discussion going on about this text. Then you have a paragraph to write. And this one is a short paragraph, 5 to 7 sentences, where you include a topic sentence, main points, and evidence for those points, as well as a conclusion to explain what you would do if you found yourself in a similar situation. Take a second and imagine yourself there and brainstorm what would happen. What would you have done? Would you have allowed them to take over? Then you have a handout. This one's about magical realism. This text uses this type of literature called magical realism. Just like Poe loves to use that Gothic style, this one uses elements of magical realism. Magical realism story features an ordinary setting in which strange and fantastic events occur. So whereas Poe was all very dramatic with lots and lots and lots of language to describe what was going on, magical realism generally feels like a real-life story, something that you could believe would be happening next door, with the exception that there are some magical, impossible things that also happen. So, magical realism includes ordinary settings, rumblings of the extraordinary beneath the surface, like something is going on that seems not normal. Magical, strange, and unexplained events are happening. and characters aren't alarmed by strange events. So if you think about any movie or story that you've ever heard or seen where just someone's talking and all of a sudden a chair talks to them, or they're walking down the street and behind the dumpster is a dragon, that just tells them the way to a treasure map. So things seem normal at first, and then suddenly there are magical elements, and where we would be like, oh my gosh, a dragon, or like, don't talk to me, that's weird, couches or chairs don't talk. In a magical realism story, the characters aren't alarmed. They just are like, of course that man has superpowers. This is not weird. So which of this following would you expect to see at the beginning of magical realism? Based on this explanation and this explanation, what do you see in magical realism? So answer questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 about magical realism. Then shift gears, because the next part is about taking this literary style and analyzing a story that you have heard, some piece of literature that you have read, or a movie you've seen, or show you've seen that uses this kind of style. So your job is to be as specific as you can in your description. It can be from a story you've read, heard of, a movie you've seen. If you can't think of any, there are a few examples. Avengers, Shazam, Mulan, The Alchemist, A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings, Stranger Things. All of those are examples of magical realism. Now your job is to look carefully at setting characters, the first odd event, a major odd event, and the story conclusion to demonstrate how they fit into this definition of magical realism. So as usual, you do all this by copy pasting, putting it into a Google Doc. Once you have your Google Doc open, you paste it, you put your answers, and then you'll copy paste everything when you are done and when you have your answers. And you'll put it into the submit assignment section, the gray button that shows up for you here, and then click the create tab and paste it back into Schoology. That way you can work using Google Docs, which is likely not to shut down on you and will continue saving all the time, whereas Schoology sometimes has some finicky characteristics. So you have questions 1 through 9 to tackle for that one. If you want to keep all of these like this and just highlight the correct answer, for these you can. If you want to delete all the others and leave only the correct answer, you can do that. For this section, you can just start describing right here what the setting looked like. And this doesn't necessarily have to be in full sentences. Your job is to describe well, to make it clear that you understand what magical realism is. So once you've pasted that into the Create tab and click Submit, you're done submitting your handout. The last thing in this folder is an Achieve 3000. And Achieve 3000, this is the first time we're doing this in this particular class. You will go to Achieve 3000 and the article called Mystery Ship Found. If you are logged into Achieve 3000, this should take you there right away. If you are not logged in, you will need to take a second and do that. You are logged into one of these classes, so look for the one that fits your day. So if it's a 1, you're going to be an AA class. If it's a 2, you're a BB class. And this coordinates with what class you are in Infinite Campus. So if you're in English 305, then and you're on a Monday schedule, so you'll be here. This class is going to be, Monday class is 200A1, Tuesday class is 200A, Thursday, Friday class is 200A2. So again, this should be your English 10 class, and if you're Monday, you're in 200A-1, and if you're a Thursday, Friday student, you're 200A-2. That was really hard for my brain just now. And then you log in. And boom, you're right at the right article. The article is about finding a mystery sunken ship or kind of assemblyship. You'll see how it's real fun. Your job is to read the article really carefully. There are 2 pages. So when you finish the first page, click the green arrow and go to the second page and read more about another ship. And when you are done, your job is to do the activity, which is multiple choice questions about what you just read. If you need to refer to the text, click the refer to sources, and a little window will show up here so that you can read or look back through it. Some of these questions sometimes say, like, on paragraph 5, refer to blah, blah, blah. And in that case, you'll want that refer to sources thing. Remember how to count paragraphs. This is paragraph 1, 2. Even though there's like barely a paragraph here, that's paragraph 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 6 is short, but it's still paragraph 6. 7, 8. This is tiny, but paragraph 9. So that's how you divide the paragraphs. And then you do the activity. As you can see in your instructions here, on the activity you need 75 or better to get 100% on the assignment. If you get 100% the first try, you get extra credit, 110%. If, however, you get less than 75%, you don't pass and you have to do it again. So take your time when you're reading. This should take you a while. So do a really excellent job with reading carefully and you'll be able to get 75% better on the assignment. If you do not get 75% or better, you only get 1 more article, which is a total of 2 tries, to do the summary and get 75% or better on the activity. So if you don't successfully finish this activity with a 75% or better, you get to the end and you have a lower score than that. I've already taken this, so I should be able to pull up my results. If you get to the end and you don't have a 75 or better, just pick any article ever and read it carefully and get 75% better on that one. So essentially you're creating more work for yourself if you don't do it right the first time. If you just click here on the Achieve 3000 Literacy, it'll take you to the home page, which generally has a couple of interesting articles to start. So that's how the text starts. It's great. And then here's some instructions on how to get to Achieve 3000 if you have forgotten or didn't know. So there's an example of a score at the bottom of that one right there. So you know, your first try, you need 75% or better. If you don't get 75% on this first try, you read another article. You have to get 75% on what's called the first try on that article. So that's Achieve, and that should be the end of our assignments. Yep. That takes us to the end of our reading called House Taken Over. So, good luck, and let me know if you have any questions by shooting me an email or give me a call on my Google number, and I will help you. Have a great day.